The image of what the human body should be like has been an over-obsessed topic within the American culture. It affects people of every age, shape, size, gender, and race. It doesn't matter if it's you, a sibling, a close friend or family member, because up to 24 million people of all ages and genders suffer from an eating disorder in the U.S. The body type portrayed in advertising as the ideal body is possessed naturally by only 5% of American females. 69% of girls in 5th through 12th grade reported that magazine pictures influenced their idea of a perfect body shape. The worst part is that only 1 in 10 men and women with eating disorders receive treatment. Luckily, Melissa Angers, a current junior here at Rider, had the courage and strength with the help of her friends, family members, and sisters of Delta Phi Epsilon to help her with her battle with bulimia.
In my late years in middle school and early years of high school, I started to pick up dance. So I was looking at a lot of artists, girls in magazines and dance magazines, and how tiny they were compared to how big I was. And I mean, in my eyes, I looked huge versus everybody else. And so I tried to start taking into my own hands how to change my figure and in a non-healthy manner. And I ended up being bulimic. I really didn't think it was a problem. I never thought it was a problem. I thought I was doing something that was normal because you hear about all these other stories about artists who are bulimic too, and yeah, people think it's a problem, but at the same time, they're famous, they're people's icons. So I never saw it as an issue until I got a reality check one day. My mom kind of started to see signs, kind of would mention things to me, and I would just act like she was overreacting and I wasn't the one with the problem, that she was. Yeah. And it became to the point where I was so dehydrated one day, I had passed out in school, and they had to take me to the hospital and obviously pump fluids into my bloodstream and into me to get me back to hydration and come back to. And then I realized that that was such a scary experience, and it was all caused by me being bulimic and not giving my body the things that it needed to survive.
In a survey of female students on a college campus, 58% felt pressure to be a certain weight. I talked to Lisa Spatafor, a clinical psychologist at the Zorner House Counseling Service Center here on campus, about her opinion on eating disorders with college students.
I think that a lot of students have eating disordered symptoms, but they don't meet full criteria for diagnosis. We have a smaller percentage that meet criteria for diagnosis, but I think that college is a time when you're developmentally really trying to find your identity and worried about peers, and you're entering more romantic relationships, and so I think that it's definitely body image issues are definitely an issue among the college population. I think that in our culture, there's an ideal of thinness that's unrealistic for most women, and that certainly has an impact on the population. And in America, the rates of eating disorders in all Western cultures are higher than in Eastern cultures, although in Japan it's a major issue now. But I think that not everybody has an eating disorder, so it's something that may affect it, but it doesn't mean that everybody's going to end up with an eating disorder. It's only a small percentage of the population.
I didn't reach out for help right away. I was really, really embarrassed. Up until last year at our ANAD vigil, I really haven't talked publicly about it. Only my family and very close friends knew about it. So I was put into counseling to talk about it constantly. Which is probably why I never talked about it a lot now, is because I was just so used to, I was always fed into counseling and talk about it. So I got a lot of counseling, therapy, healthier ways of eating and dieting and being in that sense. And I brought myself back to being happy with me and not worrying about everybody else, because everyone's different.
I also spoke with Rose Sorio, who is a counselor for the Zorner House, and she talked about how they can help students here at Rider.
And we have individual appointments that you can come in and see a counselor and discuss anything that might be of concern to you. If you do come in with some type of eating disorder symptoms, we can certainly do an assessment to see if it's something that we can work on with you here in the counseling center.
I was afraid to even talk about it. So up until last year, I didn't really say anything. But I think just taking that one step and writing the letter about telling my story that I did and speaking just at an individual. You don't know who comes. You don't know what kind of eating disorder they do have. You don't know what they're experiencing. Everyone has a different reason in their life why they choose to take a path with eating disorders. So just telling and sharing my version of what I was going through and how I was dealing with it, I think subconsciously it helped those people that are there. You may not know who they are. You may know who they are. But subconsciously it helped those people, and I think just continuing to tell my story is something that will help people. I'm really happy. No, I hate the gym, and I don't go often, so I don't do those physical diets, but I eat what I want when I want, and if I gain a little weight, I don't fret about it. There's things that I can do about it in a healthier manner that I know now that I have those options. And I'm more of a stronger person now because of everything I went through. I know how to make the decisions for me and make sure that they're good decisions for me.